AFA Today on AFR Talk. Kevin McCullough, very, very concerned today. There's lots of headlines going on. The Wall Street Journal has said to John Kerry, stop embarrassing the world on the issue of environmentalism. We don't want that to happen anymore. You keep talking about computer models. They've been proven to be false. Don't do that. That's what the Wall Street Journal is saying. Ted Cruz is going to be speaking to the Friends of Abe group, which is that, according to the Hollywood Reporter, super secret conservative group in Washington. In Hollywood, and some in New York. There aren't. There's not much of a secret about the group, though. If the Hollywood Reporter is writing about it, how secret is it really on that level? I'm just saying. And then what we're talking about today, another article, this time from one of the actual commissioners of the FCC, saying that even though he's against it, he voted against it, that the Federal Communications Commission, which is the group that oversees the rights of broadcasters, license owners, station operators of radio and television broadcast stations, that he is actually saying that the FCC is going to go into the newsrooms, and ask the reporters, why are you choosing to report on which stories? And why did you ask that question? Because that seems to indicate a bias. Or why did you pick that story when these other stories were out there? You have a perceived bias against this or that. They've picked 8 categories that they think should be what's called critical information needs. And if your stories don't fit into those 8 categories, well, we're going to have to write that up. Well, where does all that go? What do you do with all that? Why does the government need to be in the controlling of the news business? Isn't that something that we got rid of with the Cold War many years ago? 888-589-8840. Let me also add this little interesting tidbit. If they decide to do this, and if they decide to start taking action against stations that don't comport to their way of thinking on the stories that they feel like you should be reporting on, little prediction from KMC here. They can try to shut down broadcast outlets. It won't really matter, because every time they try to stamp out a flame in one area, something else is going to pop up through the web, through new technology. There's this new technology now that they're saying might rival the internet, but get out of the way of censorship, because it'll be transmitted through different mechanisms that the internet doesn't currently use. When government tries to silence you, it is a great time to speak more clearly and at higher volume. When the rights to speech try to be thwarted, speak louder. That's the answer. 888-589-8840. Let's go to line 1. Gary's been very patient in Kentucky. Hi, Gary. Welcome. You're on with Kevin McCullough.
Hey, Kevin. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing quite well. I hope I didn't offend you with the little Russian bit at the top of the hour.
No, as a matter of fact, I'll give you a free pass on that. And I share with you the humor that's involved there. I saw the picture of Mr. Putin with the scowl on his face, and
I've never seen a picture when he didn't have a scowl on his face.
That's very true, and it's interesting that the Olympics.
Did we lose Gary?
No, I'm here.
Oh, no.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can.
Okay, I just feel like this needs to be said. My worldview, biblically, as I understand, Jerusalem is the center of the universe, and please call me a Zionist. I appreciate that critical comment. But
Gary, we keep losing you. I'm so sorry. Let's go to line 3. Lydia is in Mississippi. It sounded like he was on a good thought there, but we just kept losing him. Lydia, thanks for being here. You're on with Kevin McCullough. Go right ahead.
Hi, how are you doing today, Kevin?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I got tickled at you when you were talking about the hockey game. That just it kind of made my day. It was fun.
Doesn't it feel good since Lake Placid? Doesn't it just feel good every time that Russia loses in hockey?
I mean,
it's okay if they beat us in curling or skiing or figure skating. You can take all the figure skating you want for all I care. But for hockey,
I like it.
it's just nice when the U.S. outlasts them in the Olympics. I mean, we may still lose, but it's nice when they go down before us.
Right. It's cool. Listen, I miss seeing you on Family Net on Saturday night. You and Stephen Baldwin, I used to watch that when y'all were on, so really miss you on that. But I got a couple of things I wanted to say to you about. Is that not? I'll just make my comments and then hang up and listen to you on the radio. I believe it's illegal search and seizure whenever they're coming into the news organizations like that and doing their poking around and investigation. I don't believe they have a right to do that. I believe that's against the right of the freedom of the press, and I believe that we've got some people to stand up and tell them, no, you're not coming in here. You can listen to us, but you're not getting our papers and how we decide to do anything. I don't think they have the right to do that.
I certainly think that I don't think they're up to any good with it. And if I was operating, a licensed station, I don't know what I would do. I think I would need to see if they were, legally enforceable in terms of what their requests were. And if they weren't, I'd say go climb a tree.
Jump off that mountain over there.
Well, see, now, Lydia, because we have very serious people listening, someone's going to call in and say you were encouraging the FCC commissioner to commit suicide, and we don't want to do that.
We don't want to do that.
So I'm not going to say jump off the cliff anymore. I say go climb a tree. Of course, then they could fall out and break their arm. That's also bad. I can't win today. I think I'm going to just start saying speak Russian because someone's going to eat me alive.
That's so funny. Yeah, listen, also, remember, I think it was one of the Democratic fundraisers, and I believe it was a Fox News reporter went in, and he was going to report on it, and they stuck him off in this little room by himself and left him there.
The story doesn't sound familiar to me, but... Yeah,
that was back during, I think, maybe the first election that Obama ran in. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But anyway, the point is, you could take the FCC people and put them in a little room, and we forgot that you were in there.
Well, the president did that with. Thank you for the call, by the way. The president did that with Benjamin Netanyahu. He brought him to the White House, and they were meeting for a little while, and then he's like, "Hey, I just got to go. I just got to step out. I'll be right back. I'll take a phone call." And then, like 8 hours later, he walked back in, and people were like, "Oh." Yeah, sorry about that. We were supposed to continue that conversation. Well, better luck next time. Have a safe trip back to Jerusalem. 888-589-8840. Let's go to George, line 4 in Missouri. Hi, George. Welcome.
Hey, Kevin.
Line 4, George. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, George.
Yeah, thanks for what you're doing. Yeah, I mean, I wonder if they're going to do it to their liberal stations like 2, 4, 5, and 9, where they're telling them what to do. Oh no, they're already doing what they want to do.
That's a good thought, George. Thanks for the call. What is interesting about this is one of the things they're going to be accusing reporters is selective treatment, right? So they're going to say, well, why did you select that story? I'd love to do a little research on which stations they select and which ones they decide to work with first and what they really end up reporting from these interviews. 888-589-8840. Line 2, James is in Virginia. Hi, James. Line 2, James, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Kevin. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for being with us.
No problem. Enjoy your show. I was just thinking as I was listening to everybody talking, we don't know what kind of clout they're going to have when they come in, and maybe the stations just could play Sebelius and plead the fifth. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what information you want.
All we've done is put Kathleen Sebelius on our air for the last 16 days. So here's our videotape. You feel free to look through it and help yourself.
Yeah, I think that any type of maneuver like that from the government
doesn't it feel creepy?
Another way to control them. Yeah, it's just another way to control the media and the people.
But it's in one of the most underhanded ways because they're doing it under this guise of, well, we're trying to find out if we're really meeting the critical information needs of the country. In the meantime, you got, some muscle dude sitting there hey, why you pick that story? No, we're not running that story today. Sit down and pick the other story like I told you to. That's what we're going to do today.
Yeah. Well, what scares me about
it's like the news mafia is sitting there and like, I'm trying to type my story up. Why'd you use the letter A? I don't know.
Yeah, what scares me about is the way Hitler used the media to convince the nation to do what he did to the Jews. And if we don't have the media telling us what's going on, they can do whatever they want.
Well, it was obviously something that bothered our founders in the days of the founding of the country because it was important enough that they embodied it in the First Amendment. It's obviously been a tool that was used not just with National Socialism in Germany, but also in the socialist communist movement that swept Eastern Europe and controlled all the. I mean, still is the case in China, where you don't see it relaxed. North Korea, state-run, state-controlled everything. And that's why, as much fun as I've had kind of poking at the Russians losing in hockey, there's a serious point to be made here. Are we headed there? Is that where we're going? You've got FCC commissioners getting under the grill of the average, newsroom in cities across America. What's the purpose of that? Should the government even care what the news outlets report? Shouldn't the marketplace decide, oh, I don't like that news station. They don't seem to do things very fairly. So I don't watch them. But I like this one over here because they seem fair. And different people are going to have different tastes, and they should be allowed to pick what they want to watch. Why should we have the government coming in and going, yeah, we're not running that story today. Exactly. That seems scary to me. James, thanks for the call. Let's go to line one. Lori, also in Virginia. Lori, welcome. You're on with Kevin McCullough. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Kevin. I have one really important point, and that is it freaks me out when I hear something on the media, even in Fox News, saying things like, oh, that can't happen here. Well, take a look at Venezuela. Venezuela was a constitutional republic. Mm-hmm. It was. And people should go to the internet or whatever and see what's happening there. I have family there. Mm. You know what? Hugo Chavez started with like bogus stuff with radio stations to shut them down.
Right.
Some, made up rules. Until right now, there is not one opposition radio or TV station in that nation.
Now think about what you just said. Understand the history because you've watched it very carefully. And understand what's been said from your commander-in-chief just since the new year began. He does the State of the Union and says, I'm going to issue more executive orders than I have in the past. And they're going to be more aggressive. And I'm going to do it without the help of Congress. He has fundamentally rewritten laws that he doesn't have the constitutional power to do. And you've had GOP Republican senators and House members that have come out and said, yeah, he's violating the Constitution, but we don't have the power to stop it. And now the FCC is going into the newsroom. The same newsrooms, I might add, by the way, that they've already been tapping the phone lines and the data feeds from. I mean, these are the people the Justice Department already tapped every phone line associated with the Associated Press a year ago. We knew that was going on a year ago. Now they have all this metadata. Now they need to come into the newsroom and they need to say, well, what are you doing here? Who says I was doing that? Oh, well, we have the metadata right here. It shows that that's what you did. I mean, it seems to me there's a bold way of taking more and more power. You have seen it in places like Venezuela. It seems like there is a very methodical kind of plan that appears to be being executed in front of us. That there is this decision to make the executive branch more powerful than the other branches. No one's willing to step up and stop them. You've got the phone lines and the metadata already being tapped in the newsrooms, and now you're going to send FCC representatives into the newsrooms to conduct these surveys and talk about bias and perceived bias. And they're telling us what they're going to talk about. They're telling us that that's what they're going to be measuring. They're saying it to our face. The question will be, will America wake up respond and take action. And that I don't know if we're going to. Lori, thank you for the call. Appreciate it. Friends, I don't believe, by the way. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not a the sky is falling kind of guy. I still believe God's in charge. I still believe he's in total control. But I do know this. I do know that the ways of mankind, left untouched or uninterfered with God, by God, always lead to destruction. I also know that God longs for us to pray and to spend time with him. It's one of the reasons why I talk about Pray 2014 every single day on this broadcast. I want you to join the prayer movement. We need people praying for America. Pray2014.com, pray2014.com. Every Monday, you'll get a focus of how we're going to focus on prayer in our lives throughout the week, every Monday morning. There's no charge or anything to it. It's just get the email focus, pray2014.com. But that's the solution. We start entreating God to intervene in these things that we are powerless to be involved in. Because I know that our government isn't bigger than my God. I know that my God is bigger than my government and able to keep things in check that I personally may not have control over. Anyway, Kevin McCullough, glad you're with us. Thank you for being here. Crane Durham in for me tomorrow as the wedding ceremonies for the Top Gun grad get underway, and we'll be back with you on Monday. Until then, keep your chin up, pray2014.com, and we'll see you then.